Hello everyone and welcome to one of the top ranked mid-size sedans, which is comfortable, affordable, reliable and frugal, the 2024 Nissan Altima. So the new Nissan Altima is offered in 4 different variants, starting from the S, then the SR, the SR Premium and the Platinum variant. And the particular model that I'm reviewing is the Altima SR Premium, and something that is quite visible from here, the badge, which is in red, the SR badging. But first let me begin with the color, because you get this gray sky pearl color on this Altima. Looks quite unique because it's a blend of slight bit of bluish and also gray color, so it's got like dual tone color option on this thing. And let me begin from the front. So you get this V motion blacked out grille in the front with this new Nissan badging, flatter ones, then the SR badging, quite big grille also. And if you notice, there is no number plate on the front, and that makes the front end look quite clean and rather nice looking that way. So I like cars without number plates. Let me know in the comment section what you think of cars without number plates. There's also dark chrome around these headlights, and even on the other side at the bottom, these glossy plastic grills, honeycomb grills, but they are not like aerodynamic or anything, just for the design purposes to make the car look a little more sportier in its appearance and a little bit angular in terms of the bumper design. And when you come to these headlights, so these are full LED headlight cluster. There are also DRLs on the edge, on the inside, in this C-shaped on either side, and those same DRLs also convert into the turn signals, whereas the headlight cluster is completely LED and it's also automatic, so you don't have to do anything. It just automatically detects darkness or brightness and then automatically switches on and off. And underneath this sits a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, whereas all the variants come standard with the all-wheel drive system and a CVT transmission. There is also a camera given in the front for the various safety systems, for the adaptive cruise control and also the front collision warnings. Now on the sides, there are these 19-inch dual tone alloy rims with the SR badging on the edge and the Nissan badging in the middle, and all 4 disc brakes, and a rather clean looking design from the side profile. Just some subtle curves going till the back on the top, and at the bottom also a little bit of gradual curves that extend till the bottom on the back side, but that's about it. There's also a half chrome surround around these windows at the bottom side. And when you come to these side mirrors, these are non-power foldable side mirrors. They are black color side mirrors and they are power adjustable. They also have the blind spot warning, but inside the frame of it, but not on the mirror itself. And there's no turn signals or anything on these side mirrors. There's also a standard sunroof provided on this Altima. And when you come to these doors, the front doors are keyless entry doors, very simple, and the usual mid-size sedan, so it's quite long in the back with a small spoiler given in the back, kind of an extension slightly. These tail lights that extend onto the side profile, and again 19-inch dual tone alloy rims given in the back too. Now in the rear, there are these fully halogen tail light cluster, then the small spoiler that I mentioned. In terms of the visibility, it's slightly restricted, I would say, and the upper level visibility is there, but the lower level is quite missing because of the fact that it's quite tall from the back and the glass is swooping. It's long, but it's kind of swooping, so which is why there's very limited amount of visibilities. And the bottom, there is this glossy black bumper meant to look the rear end a bit more sporty with these dual exhaust chrome tips, and these are the functional exhaust tips. And there's also the Altima badging, Nissan badging, the all-wheel drive badging and the SR badging given in the back. And when you come to the boot space, in order to open this trunk door, there's a button provided. Open that. There are first these scuff plates so that you don't damage your bumper, and quite big trunk space, about 15.4 cubic feet of luggage you can put in the back, which is decent, but it's not the biggest, I will admit. It's quite deep also that way, so yeah, you have to have a bit of a struggle putting your luggage in and out slightly, but still it sits on the lower side, so it's going to be slightly easier than the other cars. And at the bottom of this floor sits a temporary spare wheel along with the tool kit. There are also a couple of tying points, and that's about it. There is also a boot light given in the middle, and the rear seats are foldable in a ratio of 60:40. In order to do that, pull the lever provided in the back, which is quite handy, but the problem is that the seats don't fold down on their own, so you either have to go inside and push those seats, or most likely go from the rear and fold the seats down. Now when the rear seats are folded down, you can put 58.1 cubic feet of luggage, which sounds big in terms of the space, but the thing is that there are lots of arches that actually block the entire space, so it's not like straightforward open space in the back. There are arches also in the back, and there is also quite a bit of steps, so that is why it reduces the length of the objects that you would put overall. So like bigger bags, I don't know, you'll have to push in a lot more through that cutout that is provided, but yes, nonetheless, if there are longer objects, you can definitely utilize the foldable seat option on it. So the rear trunk door is mechanical, so in order to close it, you have to give it a push and close it. So the interior of the new Nissan Altima is lined with good materials spread across areas where you are going to be interacting with the car, but it's also practical at the same time. So let me begin with the material quality. Soft touch material on the front side, on the top of the dashboard. In the back, it's normal plastic. On this driver's display, there is this leather covered with the orange and the white color stitching there. The door cards have soft touch material on the top where are going to be resting hands. That's black color leather covered, again white and orange stitching. These buttons have glossy black glittery plastic. At the bottom, normal plastic around that too, and on this center tunnel on the sides, there is again leather covered with the orange and white stitching. That's where you're going to be resting your knees, so that's again soft. But this side of the dashboard is hard plastic. This glove box is plastic. At the bottom of this center tunnel also is hard plastic, and on the side face of this dashboard, there is this plastic trim meant to look like carbon fiber. So this car tries to even present itself as a sporty option, a mid-size sedan, which is why there is a half bottom steering wheel also. It's leather covered again with the orange color stitching. This handrest that has these stitching orange and white here. There's also this glossy plastic around the cup holders. The inside of the cup holders can do with better plastic quality in general. Even the plastic given on the side face of this dashboard can do with the better quality of plastic. And then there is this infotainment screen. So let me begin with the driver's display. So there are traditional dials, fixed dials on either side. So left side is for the RPM, right side is for the speedometer, and more information at the bottom of that. And in the middle, there is a 7-inch TFT digital driver's display, shows you fair bit of information. And in order to change the information, there are buttons given on the left side of the steering wheel. Easily scroll through the menu options. So let me walk you across the menu options. So the first option is the compass with the digital speed. Then if you just want to see the digital speed, leave the screen in blank. The next option is the fuel economy, then the trip option A and B, tire pressure monitoring system, speed limit sign, then compass if you just want to see that, then the media options, you can change that too, then intelligent system from Nissan's intelligent system, you can even press it from the steering wheel and go into that system too. Then the detail settings, inside which there is VDC settings, which is for the traction controls, which are on and off. Then there is driver assistant, tire pressure setting, clock, vehicle settings, inside lighting, turn indicators, wipers, remote engine start, all of that can change. Maintenance, customize display, inside customize display again some more options to change some of the display options, unit language, key link settings, and factory reset. So that's about it. So that is your driver's display. So that screen again can be a bit more brighter, because sometimes when the light is falling directly on it, because this is a TFT screen, so it tends to be a bit washed out at certain angles. That's the only thing. Now when you come to the steering wheel, this is a leather covered steering wheel, which is a flat bottom steering wheel. It's got orange stitching on the inside and buttons given on either side. There's also a Nissan badging given in the middle, and this steering wheel is manually adjustable, tilt and telescopic. There are also paddle shifters given in the back, but this thing comes with a CVT transmission. But yes, nonetheless, there are paddle shifters given. They are made out of plastic. Now on the right side, there are buttons given for the adaptive cruise control and all the various lane keep assist and the lane departure warning systems and all that. There are also more buttons for the voice control and the phone, and on the left side there are buttons given for the media controls and also buttons to change all the information on the driver's display. There are also buttons given on the left side on the dashboard, so those buttons are for the assist, so the lane keep assist. It's only available when you're in the cruise control, so that's one option. Then the brightness of the screen or the trip reset. So at the bottom of the screen on the driver's display, you can see trip A, trip B, distance coverage and the total coverage in terms of kilometers of this car. And when you come to the air conditioning control, straightforward button operated air conditioning system has been provided on this Altima. So straight on and off button given on the left side on the dial, and then dials given on either side to adjust the temperature. So you get dual zone air conditioning system on this Altima, and in the middle there are buttons for the fan speed, you can adjust that, and the flow of air button and the fresh air and everything, and the screen in the middle to show you what options are on or currently being switched on, including the temperature and everything displayed on either side. And there are also buttons given on the top of that screen in the middle side for the heated seats. So the driver and the passenger side seats are both the heated seats, and also there's another button given for the heated steering. So that button is quite straightforward, given there in the middle, so it's easy to just reach out. So that is your air conditioning control. Now when you come to the driver's display, there is a 12.3-inch display given on this Altima, and in terms of the appearance and the quality of it, it feels rather better. In fact, it's better than the recent car from Nissan that I reviewed, which was the Nissan Ariya, which seemed to have a bit of grainy screen. But you can go click on the pop-up banner out here and you can watch the detailed review video of that, where I have explained why that screen feels a little grainy, but it's exactly the same layout and everything. So it's got this 3D effect, like the icons, they tend to have this sort of animation going on the screen, which is why it slows down slightly, but still it's kind of feeling much better in terms of its response. You can even long press and adjust the widgets on the screen, arrange everything however you want, personalize your main screen. So the first option is the call history, then there is the navigation system on that widget, and then the connection option. So in terms of the connectivity, you can connect to this infotainment system using Bluetooth, USB. Then there is also a Sirius XM trial package, and there's also wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connectivity given on this thing. And at the bottom of that, map options, where it will show you the closest petrol station next to this car, all apps, Alexa. Then the Nissan Connect services, which is an additional option given this year on this latest edition of Altima. Nissan Connect services is basically an app that you can download on your phone and keep a track of your car. You can unlock the car, you can remotely start the car, heat it, cool it, all of that settings can change. So that has been provided complimentary on this Altima. Then the next page, you can add more option on that, and then there are buttons given on the left side, shortcut buttons for the home. Press the home button. Then the navigation, there is inbuilt TomTom navigation system given on this Nissan Altima. It's pretty decent, I would say. It's fast and shows wide variety of information like the petrol stations and also the petrol rates going on your screen itself. So it's just very easy to decide and plan your journey on the way. Then the point of interest at the bottom. So not too bad in terms of the navigation system. Then the media options, as I said, all the sources given on your screen. Then the phone option when your phone is connected. Then at the bottom there is the app options, notification, Nissan Connect, download apps, SXM, travel link, TomTom weather, where am I, GPS position, all of those settings. And there's also detailed settings given on the top right corner. So there you will find connections, phone, navigation, sounds, system updates, clock, customized menus, general options, display, language and everything. Then Nissan Connect services, camera, apps and all of that. Then there's a notification option, so if there is any notification from the car, you can see that. This is on the left hand corner, and slide down the top section and you can go into the brightness or the sound settings. So there are 9 speaker Bose music system given on this Altima, and it sounds pretty alright, because yeah, Bose system in general is quite a decent music system for any car. And that's about it for the infotainment system. There are also buttons given on the bottom of that. So the first button is for the brightness, to adjust in case you want the night setting or the day setting, or leave it on auto. Then the track changer button, and also a volume dial given in the middle, and there is a camera button. Now I thought that camera button would lead you into the camera system, but instead it just shows you some of the options like the predictive coastlines and the display setting options. So that camera button is dedicated to just change the camera settings, and that's about it. Now when it comes to the charging, so there are 2 USB ports, one type C and one normal, along with a 12-volt power socket given in the front at the bottom of the air conditioning controls, and also a wireless charger provided too in the front. Whereas for the rear passengers, there are 2 USB ports, one type C and one normal. On this Altima, there are these extendable sun visors, because these doors are quite long, to give you additional bit of coverage when the sun is hitting you straight on the side. And there is also a standard sunroof provided. There is also an SOS feature given on this thing, which is for the emergency purposes. Now in terms of the storage, it's a bit limited, I find, on the Altima in terms of the storage. So in the door cards you can put about 1 liter worth of bottle, that's about it, and a little storage on the side in the bag. Then there is this wireless charger you can utilize to put your phones and wallets. There are these 2 standard cup holders. There is this glove box which is decently big, but it's not deep enough. That way, even on the passenger side, again, you can put 1 liter worth of bottle. There is this hand rest in which you can put about your phones and wallets. That's about it. It feels a little cooler. I don't know if it's the cooled hand rest, but it does feel slightly cooler on the inside. And there's also this sunglass holder provided too. Now on this Altima, the gear shifter is quite straightforward, which is a slidable one. So you put it into reverse, neutral, drive and the low range, and that's about it. But there is no dedicated button for the driving mode, but there is a hidden driving mode, and that is behind this gear stick. So that is this unmarked button. So if you put the car into the drive and you press that button, on your screen next to the D option there is an S, so that indicates that the car is now in slightly sportier mode. All it does is that it just pushes the car to higher revs before changing the gear. So it just changes the gear ratios on the CVT, and that's about it. But yeah, there is that option which is provided in the back side of the gear shifter. Now when it comes to these seats, these are black color leather seats with the orange and white stitching provided on the sides and even on the backrest slightly, and even on the headrest. But these seats are super comfortable, and slightly shorter is what I find the bottom base of the seats, because when I'm resting my legs, my under thigh slightly lacks a little bit of support. I can adjust it in terms of a lot of adjustability provided on these seats, but yes, slightly shorter is what I found, but they are pretty broad that way. So yeah, that's not going to be difficult. And on the sides there is decent amount of side support, and at the bottom also good amount of support. But these seats are quite comfortable for longer journeys. Even the headrest is decently soft, and it's also got the white and orange stitching on it. These seats are slightly perforated, but they are not the cool seats, but only the heated seats. Now In terms of the adjustability, so the driver side seat is 8-way electronically adjustable and 2-way lumbar adjustment, whereas the passenger side seat is just 4-way electronically adjustable. Well, the Altima is a comfortable and a spacious mid-size sedan, and in this 2024 variant it still maintains that recognition. So in terms of the knee room, there is almost more than half palm worth of knee room, and the seats are in my driving position, and after that I'm getting so much of space. The seats also have a bit of a curve, giving you extra bit of slight bit of knee room, additional one. The headroom is also decent, but someone above 6 feet will start brushing their heads against the ceiling, and there's not much space underneath the seats also to slide my legs. Yeah, not much for sure, because the seats are actually quite low down that ways, but still I'm kind of all right in these seats. I would say not too bad. My underthighs still have some amount of support, that's for sure, so these seats provide that too, and the seats are also quite comfortable, just like how they were in the front. So in the back you get the same black color leather seats with the white and orange stitching, with 3 headrests provided, fixed headrests, not the movable ones. On this one there is also a middle seat provided too, so in case there are 3 passengers in the back, then yeah, you can sit in the middle too. But yes, these seats have good amount of support in the back, and they are quite reclined that way, so they offer you good amount of back support, and also at the bottom decent amount of support, which is why I said my underthighs have good support, because these are not like flat bench type seats, but rather proper seats given in the back too. And there is also a small bit of tunnel given in the back, consumes slight bit of space but not too much, because these seats are quite broad that way. So once I sit in the middle seat has quite a bit of hunch at the bottom, and also a very hard back rest, and now my head is almost touching the ceiling. In fact, my hair is kind of brushing the ceiling. So yeah, someone below 6 feet can sit on these seats, but they are slightly on the harder side. The backrest is hard also because of the fact that there are 2 normal cup holders and a handrest provided. The handrest is also pretty long that ways. Now in terms of the door card quality, it's just plastic door cards throughout, where just you're going to be resting hands. That's leather covered with the orange and white stitching. These buttons again have the same glossy black plastic around that. And in terms of the capacity, so in the door cards can put again 1 liter worth of bottle, that's about it, and slight amount of storage in the back. And the passenger side seat also has a pocket storage. Then there is this handrest in which there are 2 normal cup holders, and that's about it in the back. There are also 2 air conditioning vents provided in the back, so it's going to be quite useful during the winters and the summers for heating or cooling purposes, and 2 USB ports given in the back too. But overall it's a pretty spacious layout given for the rear passengers, and visually it's also quite broad, and it still maintains that spacious mid-size sedan tag. So this 2024 Nissan Altima comes with a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine that produces 182 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque, and this engine is mated to a CVT transmission that sends the power to all the 4 wheels via an all-wheel drive system. Now in terms of the engine and the CVT transmission, yes, the engine is a bit sluggish in terms of its performance. Like, it's not in a hurry at all, it's quite laid back that way. You press the throttle, takes a good second and a half to respond, and then start putting down that power. Plus also there is the CVT transmission that takes a little while to decide the gear ratios, and then gradually start moving upwards to higher ratios. So yeah, in terms of the performance for everyday use, it's all right, because you don't need like a sporty package to go like every day. So for everyday use, this is a perfect package, because this will also return you a good fuel economy. So in terms of the fuel economy on longer runs, I've managed to get around 7 to 7.5 liters per 100 kilometers, whereas inside the city, I've been able to get around 8 to 8.5, which is absolutely amazing for daily usage, especially for a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine. And also the CVT sort of makes sometimes those grumbling noise when you start to push it a little bit, like gets a little shouty sometimes. That's the only thing, but it's only when you hard accelerate, that's the only time. Now when it comes to the suspensions, they are mildly on the harder side, although they are comfortable for daily runs. The damping is pretty good on this, and combined with these seats, the comfort levels are decent on the inside, and there's not much roll also. It remains quite planted and stable, but because there are 19-inch wheels, so that makes things slightly harder. If they were 18 inches, I'm sure the ride quality will be much more comfortable in general. Now when it comes to the steering is pretty good, even though this is an electronic steering, but the calibration done on this one is rather good. It's precise and good amount of feedback, and also good direction to the car, and you know exactly what's going on in general. And it's also fairly progressive. As you go to higher speeds, it becomes slightly harder too. The turning radius is also alright on this one. Now when it comes to the braking, there are 4-disc brakes on this Altima, and the brake pedal is progressive, and the performance is pretty good in general. And when it comes to the noise and the vibrations, so there is a bit of tire noise at higher speeds and a bit of wind whooshing from around these windows. And as I said, if you hard accelerate, then yes, then the CVT and the engine, you know, noise is quite audible on the inside. Let me demonstrate you that. Yeah, something like that. But the vibrations so far seems to be doing okay. This car has done nearly a little over 10,500 kilometers, and for that it's doing quite all right in my opinion. And anyways, Altimas are meant to last quite long in terms of its quality and durability, so not too bad. Now when it comes to the safety systems, there are 10 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger. There are 2 side airbags given for the rear passengers. Also on either side, there are 2 curtain airbags given in the frames. There are also 2 knee airbags for the driver and the passenger. Then there is a single camera reversing system, but the output from that honestly can be improved, because it's just a single camera, and also the quality is a little grainy to my liking. It's not really great, because it can improve on that front. It's grainy, it's dark. There are also child isofix points in both the rear seats. There is also ABS. There is also the front and the rear collision warnings, the front pedestrian warnings. There's also blind spot warning. There's also adaptive cruise control. Then there is lane keep assist, lane departure warning, and there is also the tire pressure monitoring system. There is also the emergency brake assist. So all the safety systems are provided on this SR Premium variant of the Altima. Now when it comes to the pricing, so the S variant, which is the base one, comes in from $34,500, whereas the top variant, the platinum version, comes at $41,900, and this variant, which is the SR Premium, comes at a little over $39,000, whereas the mid variant, which is just the SR, is around $37,000. In terms of the pricing, look, if your requirement is just daily driving a car with good capabilities, then the S variant is just about enough, because it's got the all-wheel drive. All the variants have that. There's also 2.5 liter same engine, so everything is just there. It's just smaller screens and a little less, features like no wireless charging, and that's some of the bigger differences. But if you still want something more loaded, then the top spec Platinum for $41,000 is something that you can consider. Or if this is something that fits you, because this is kind of right in the middle. The car is spacious, it is practical, it's economical, and it's also going to be reliable for long runnings, and it's going to save you quite a lot of money if you go on longer drives every day, because of this CVT gearbox. It's turning quite a good fuel economy. So yeah, it's still a very usable daily driver, and because it's spacious, so lots of things and passengers can come on the inside of this car. So it still remains one of the top cars in that mid-size sedan segment. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can click here, and if you want to watch more videos, then click here. Thank you for watching this video, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care, and drive safe.